Okay, so this is 3.3 continued. Hope you guys are taking notes on this stuff. So what's neat about these is once you know those theorems that we just went over, if they were to give you a set of parallel lines and they tell us that they're parallel and we get them cut by a transversal, and I'm going to number them differently here so you guys do not get hung up on where the numbers are. And they tell me that the measure of angle 1 is equal to, let's make it easy, the measure of angle 1 is equal to 120 degrees. You know what I can do now? I can get all the other angle measures, all other 7 angle measures, okay, based on just getting one angle. As strange as that sounds, it really is, it is true, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now, okay? So if we look at it, if angle 1 is 120, I'm going to write that in here. What else can I say is 120? Well, I can say 3 is 120 because they're corresponding angles. So I can say angle 3 equals 120. And if I had to have a reason, I could say corresponding angles. I could say that 5 is 120. And I could have multiple reasons for that. I could say that that's equal to 120 because these are alternate exterior, or I could say if this is 120, this is 120 because these two are vertical angles. So angle 5 equals 120. Now I get up here, I look at 1 and 8. How are they related? Well, when you look at them, you can tell that these two add up to 180 because they form a linear pair. So if that's 120, that means that angle 8 has to be 60. Okay? And if that's 60, then 7 has to be 120. Okay, and I could say that's 120 because it's a vertical angle here, or I could say it's forms a linear pair with 8. So if that's 120 and that's 120 and that's 60, then 2 is going to have to be 60 for the same reasoning. Okay, we already know that 3 is 120. I could say these two are consecutive interior. I could say that these two are vertical, or these form a linear pair. Okay. So now if I know that 2 is 60, I can say that angle 6 is 60 because these two, okay, these two here are alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay, so I don't know if I'm missing anything. Let's see, I have 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, just number 4. So look at angle 4. And I want to know what angle 4 equals. Well, angle 4 is going to be the same as 6 because they're vertical angles, and it says that 6 is 60, so that means that 4 has got to be 60. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys one like that to try. I'm hoping that you will pause your video and try this. Then you'll really learn it, you know. Okay, let's say that the measure of angle 2 equals 70 degrees. So I want you to find the rest of the, pause the video, find the rest of the angle measures. All right, so let's look. So if 2 is 70, that means that 1 is 110. The measure of angle 1 equals 110. Why? They form a linear pair. Okay, 3. Angle 3 equals 70 because these two are vertical angles. So then angle 4 has to be 110, right? Because these are vertical and these form a linear pair, these two and these two. So now we got to go from up top here to down bottom here. So if 2 is 70, I know that 7 is 70. Okay, because they're alternate exterior. And then if that's 70, I know that 8 is 110. Okay, and if 8's 110, 5 is 110. And that would mean that 6 is 70. Okay, because these two are corresponding. These are consecutive interior. Lots of reasons. You could have lots of reasons for that, okay? All right, here we go. Here we go. So, now they say something, they'll give you problems, like they'll give you this, okay? And they'll say, we got a line here, we got 2 streets here, okay? And these lines are parallel, and they'll say something like, this is 105, this street makes a 105 degree angle there. If these two streets are parallel, then what's the measure of this angle here? And we would say what? We would say that that's equal to 75 because these two angles are consecutive interior angles, and those are supplementary. Okay? Another problem that you could see is something like this. Let's see. And again, they're telling you that your lines are parallel, so I mark my figure. Okay, and they're going to tell me that this one here is 125 degrees. And they say they number that angle, saying it's angle 4. And then they say this is x plus 15 degrees. So this isn't 4, this is just angle 4. It's a way to name the angle, okay? Because they think that you're going to have to use that. So I want to find out what x is. But when I look at this angle and this angle, there's no relationship there, okay? I don't have a name for those. They're not alt and exterior, they're not corresponding, they're not anything. Okay, so I think they put the 4 there because they think that you're going to have to use that. So if this is 125, I can say that angle 4 is 125 because these two are corresponding. Okay, so that means that I can do one of two things. I can say x plus 15 plus 125 equals 180, or I could say since this is 125, this has to be 55, and I say x plus 15 equals 55. Okay, I think you can do it both ways. Let's look. So this is going to be x plus 140 equals 180 minus 140. X is 40 minus 15 minus 15. Look at that. X is 40. Pretty cool, right? All right, now proofs. Proofs. These are your first proofs. These are your first proofs. And we'll probably talk about this live because it's something that I do have to talk to you about and get some feedback. But a proof, they're going to give you a given. And in this given, they're going to say that M is parallel to N. And they want me to prove, let me draw a picture first, okay? So let me draw a picture and then I'll put some angles in there. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they call this line M and this line N. So they said M is parallel to N. And let's say they wanted to prove that angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. So when we do proofs, we're going to do 2 column proofs. Okay? Kind of like we did in chapter 2, section 4, where we put our statements here and our reasons here. And our first step, my best advice for you is to put your given first, okay? When you do proofs, the first step, each step, is worth 2 points. So you get a point for just writing your given in, okay? You write out what it says, and then you write the word given. So now I gotta see if there's a way, now I mark my figure, okay? Here's my given, write my given in, and then I mark my figure, okay? And then I try to use my figure. I try to use my figure if I can, and I use my given. The given says the lines are parallel. So I've learned in this section that when the lines are parallel, that means that we can say that angles are congruent. So the question is, can I say that angle 2 is congruent to angle 6? Can I say that? Yes, I can. So what kind of angles are 2 and 6? Corresponding. So for step 2 here, I write corresponding angles. Good thing you guys can hear me because you probably can't read it. Okay, but it's corresponding angles. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, sometimes they're going to give you a proof like this one, and they're going to say you can't use corresponding angles. Okay, now I don't know that this is going to happen that often, but sometimes it's going to happen. Okay, so I write my given in, M is parallel to N, and I write given. Now I can't use that. I want to use that. I want to just do one step like this, okay, because that's the simplest way to do it, but I can't. I can't do it that way. So I have to think of other angle relationships. I have to try to find another angle that 2 is equal to that 6 is also equal to. Okay? So I'm going to look at 2 and 3, right? I'm going to say angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. What kind of angles are those, 2 and 3? Yes, vertical angles. Thank you. Vertical angles. But now I can also say that 3 is congruent to 6. I got 2 is congruent to 3, and then I got 3 is congruent to 6. So for this, I'm going to say angle 3 is congruent to angle 6. And what's the reason for 3 and 6? Okay, that's AIA. Very good, very good. And then we got to go on. And if I say 2 is congruent to 3 and 3 is congruent to 6, two things are equal to the same thing. How can I say they're equal to each other? Come on, this is one of our properties from chapter 2. Do you know it? Do you know it? Do you know it? Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. Anybody? I'm sure somebody said it. Transitive. Okay? So that is our 3.3. Okay? Long. Okay, it's a longer section. Might take us more than a day to do that, and we'll practice more proofs, and we'll practice there's a lot of good problems that come along with that. So, and we'll probably have a quiz after 3.3. That's usually the way it works. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Talk to you.